Hi everyone, here's my touch painting. We've had to think a lot about touch recently, being careful what we touch and who we come close to. But hopefully this reminds us that we'll all be back together again soon. So to make our picture today, we're going to need, I'm going to use a Sharpie, a nice thick black pen, so you can see what I'm doing more clearly. You can use any other kind of pen or a pencil, or colouring pencils would work well as well. I'm also going to be using my watercolours, and so for my watercolours I've got a paintbrush, some water and a piece of kitchen roll. I'll talk about these when I come to do the painting. So first thing I'm going to do is draw the outlines of our hands. Now, I'm just going to use my hand for today, but it might be a nice idea for you to use the hands of other people in your household. So I'm going to start with a nice big one in the middle. Now, when you're drawing around your hand, first of all, it's really important that you try and keep the pen or pencil pressed up to the edge of your fingers as you trace around it. That way we get a nice, good handprint. The other thing we're going to remember to do is always start from the edge of our page. So I'm actually going to start down here where my arm starts, and I'm going to follow nice and carefully. Now, around the end of thumbs and fingers I find is the trickiest bit, so you have to slow down. Round carefully, and I'm making sure I can feel the pen on the sides of my fingers as I trace around my whole hand. And remember, I'm coming all the way off the end of the page. And take it off, and there's my first one. Now, we want our handprints to be overlapping. So you could now get somebody in your family to put their hand down somewhere, or you could do it with your own one. I'm going to put one here. Next, again starting from the edge of the page, and round we go. Nice and carefully. And all the way back down to the edge. There we go. You can see my fingers overlapping the last one. And let's do another one over here. I'm going to do like this. Carefully round the edge of my fingers, especially at the tops, the tips. Remember to keep your fingers nice and spread out. If you have your fingers too close together, it's going to be hard to get the pen or pencil in between. And there we go. I think I'm going to leave it with 3 hands at the moment. Now you can see where the fingers are all overlapping. It's creating these little shapes that are boxed off. And those are the bits that we're going to be colouring in. Okay, so we're not going to cover the whole thing with colour. We're just going to look for where the hands are touching, where they're overlapping. And in those spaces, we're going to paint different colours. Now you can choose, there's loads of colours to choose from actually. Really nice bright colours. Now when you're using watercolour, obviously you need some water. So I always dip my paintbrush into the water. I give it a little dab on there, and then to get my colour, I'm going to start with a red, okay? And I move my paintbrush round in circles, okay? That loosens up the paint a bit, and it means you get more colour on your brush, okay? Now you have to experiment. You don't want too much water, but you don't want too little either, okay? So I've chosen a red, and I'm going to start with this shape here. Okay, I can see it's all closed off. I'm going to carefully paint a nice, oh, that's a really nice strong red in that finger there. Being careful not to go over any of the lines. Now, as I change colour, I need to get that red off my paintbrush. I'm going to give it a swirl around. I give it a little dab, but still I have water on the end of my brush. And the next one I'm going to go for is this nice green one. Give it a little twizzle, so I get a nice lot of paint on my brush. And I'm going to go for this little bit here next. Being careful to stay in the lines. Okay. Change colour, so I'm going to give a wash off, a little dab, and I'm going to carry on. I'm going to put on a time lapse so you can see me painting my whole picture, and we'll see what it looks like afterwards. Okay, so there's my finished piece. You can see I decided to add a few more handprints because I was really enjoying it and I wanted a bit more colour on my page. You can keep going, adding more hands or fingers and just painting in carefully, choosing some really bright and vibrant colours. So have fun with it. Again, I'd love to see any paintings and pictures that you do, so please send anything to your teachers and we can try and put it up onto the school website. Have fun with it. See you soon.